All right, I'm Darren Olson. I am running for Nekoosa School Board. I've been a lifelong Nekoosa resident, born and raised there.
I'm David Schmidt. I'm running for school board in Nekoosa. I've been serving on the school board for the last 12 years and running again to continue the job.
Hi, my name is Robert Shear out of Nekoosa, and I'm running for the Nekoosa School Board. And I'd like to give you a little rundown of my experience. And the first part of it is I've been working in schools for 11 years. I started with CESA 9 in Tomahawk and became a support person for many northern schools as an on-needed technician, and then the Phelps School District hired me as a full-time director of technology type of individual. And then they subcontracted me out to various other small schools like Elko, Three Lakes, and others. I even was subcontracted down to Nekoosa Library to put cabling in there. So their new cable network, when the building was built, was installed by myself and a friend of mine. Along with being a subcontracted person, I then became the director of technology for the Nekoosa School District, and that was in 2005-2007. So I was actually an employee inside the school district as their director of technology. After I left the position as director of technology, I served 6 years on the Nekoosa School Board from 2009 to 2015. So I've got experience on a school board. And I'm currently working with Teachers on Call. So I become a part-time teacher's aide at a couple of schools that need a little extra help, and I enjoy it. I really enjoy it, working with the students again. I also have leadership skills that I've learned from my 6 years with the Wisconsin Army National Guard, which was stationed right here in Wisconsin Rapids Armory. I was also an instructor with Mid-State Technical College for 7 years, and there I was a CPR instructor, first responder instructor, emergency medical technician instructor. I also had 9 years in the Nekoosa ambulance service, and it taught me how to handle various emergency situations because you weren't always sure what you were walking into. I also have experience with students from different school districts as a track and field coach and as a volleyball coach, so I deal one-on-one with students. I'm also a coach for the Special Olympics track and field team, so I have a full-rounded experience with people at various stages of my life. As part of all this, when I got my bachelor's degree after receiving my associate degree at Mid-State Technical College, I attended the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, got my bachelor's degree in computer information systems, and I also received the University Leadership Award from the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point in 1994. I also got the Chancellor's Leadership Award at the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point in 1995. I was also listed in Who's Who Among Students in American and Universities and Colleges in 1994 and 1995. So, as you can see, I've had a lot of experience, leadership experience, in schools and out of schools, trying to make my life more interesting and make the lives of others that I work with and for more than just walking in the door, get some stuff said to you, and just walk on out and wonder what happened. So this is why I'm running for a member of the school board. I want to make a difference for the kids and the staff. Well, the two major goals that I would like to see happen is to verify that instruction is not just leaning towards technology, where technology does everything and the teacher is sort of in the background. I think it's important that we balance the words of a teacher, the actions of a teacher, and the worksheets the teachers have with the technology. The technology should not be the leader, in my opinion. It should be the instructor and the material. Take an instance, history. With history, you can learn about the Civil War, World War I, World War II, Korean War, stuff that is still relevant today as we see what's going on in Ukraine. We need to have instruction that is verbal so the students can actually grab onto it and learn it rather than just regurgitate something off a digital screen onto a simple yes-no worksheet. So that's one thing I really want to do. The other goal I want to have is I want to see if we can improve discipline in the school. And that means getting the parents involved. In some schools, they actually have a concerned parent group where the parents come in and sort of monitor a school, and then they do the discipline or assist with the discipline. So when they're walking the halls and they're seeing students hitting each other, screaming at each other, grabbing each other, the parent can go to the student and say, we're going to the office. And when the student says, I don't have to because you're not my dad, or you can't touch me, I think it's relevant that the parent can experience what we experienced in the schools. Kids with flippant attitudes. And then they can see what is being generated in this younger generation. One example was, I was on a playground duty, and all I saw was boys kicking, screaming, and yelling at each other and hitting. And then one of them jumps out of the hitting group, goes and grabs a girl in the butt, runs away from the girl he grabbed in the butt, and refused to go to the office. Well, I took the young lady and her witness to the office, and then the office had to come and take him to the office physically. So it is important that parents and staff and the community all get together and work to get improvements on discipline. Work together to ensure that history is nothing but a digital game on a computer. That is my 2 goals for myself. Thank you.
I would like to see our tech ed department continue to grow. We've made we recently reimagined and reinvented that space. We've got a lot of focus and push in that area, and the tech area is becoming more and more important in our world. We also have a new instructor that has an ag background, and we'd like to see that whole area grow.
Well, our finances is always important in school districts. All across the state, we rely on monies from the state as well as tax money from our taxpayers. We passed a referendum a year ago, and that's helped us to for our operations, get our operations going. So our taxes are doing well. Our income for school district is fine. I don't know that there's anything in particular that's coming up that we really need to do different. We're working on a number of different things at the school district, and I want to continue to be part of that. Well, we're a small school. We have individual education. We also have a charter school that is an online school. We can deal with students that are across the state or across the country with our online program. Very helpful for our students to work in that school system. We also have another charter school that's a STEM academy. Kids that don't learn really well sitting behind a desk all the time in lectures and prefer to learn with hands-on education. They can learn by doing projects, and that's another opportunity for our students because everybody doesn't learn the same way.
I believe right now the major strength is our facilities. We recently finished our athletic facilities, so we actually have all 3 of our buildings in one stretch. We do actually have it's almost like a campus feel. Our new athletic facilities are in the middle, so the elementary school children and staff and the middle school staff can all and students all can use the new facilities, which is great. Our buildings are updated. We really are poised for the future on it.
The major strength that I have seen from inside, and this is just last year and this year a little bit, is the teaching staff. The teaching staff is dedicated to make things better and to teach what they're allowed to teach and teach it in a manner that they can teach it. So it's not, some of it's mostly digital, but we need to make that go away and go to a split format, digital and human. So the staff is tremendous. The support staff, they're fantastic, from janitorial services, hot lunch, cold lunch program, to other programs. They are fantastic, and they are the unsung heroes of the school. Because if there's nobody supporting the teachers, the students, and the administration, this is a mess. So the support staff is one of the strongest entities in the school. Thank you.
In learning, we always know that the parental involvement is very important in a child's overall experience in schools. It is difficult to get, especially at the high school level, for the parental involvement. We've done many things to try to enhance that. There's always room for improvement in there. The school district's always looking for better ways to improve the parental involvement and make our students' experience better and more complete.
The involvement, like I said a little bit earlier, if we can get a concerned parent group to help monitor the halls for behavior issues and keep things under control and work on helping us with discipline issues, that would be good. It doesn't mean they'd go and grab the kid by the ear and take him into the office kicking and screaming. It just means that team will have to work with administration to come up with a way to teach or guide the students who have issues. I was once told that I should take a child into a classroom, show them a document on a wall, a poster actually, of what is expected behaviors, and then tell them that's what's expected and take them back to the room. Well, if I was a child, I would look at that poster and say, it don't matter, I'm not going to do it, because some kids will not follow what's posted on a wall. You have to guide them with verbal cues and a few stops to the office. And then if it's in the office, then by all means, let's call the parent and come up with a program where the parent has to come in and talk to the principal about their child's misbehavior. And come up with a discipline plan where you have accountability for the discipline errors that they create. But that's how you get your families involved. That is the hardest part, is getting families involved with disciplining their own child when they are caught doing the wrong thing in a school district.
We've been doing really well with our parental involvement, especially in our STEM Academy. We have several parents that come in and help with the classes and stuff. We have some assistants, teachers that come in. Parents are deeply involved in what we do. We at our board meetings, we have generally had some attendance with parents to come and see what we're doing and give us encouragement or direction, which is what we really need to operate a school district, because we don't have all the answers ourselves. So. Well, like I said before, we passed an operational referendum a year ago, and that's helped us to stay in the black. I don't know if we have any particular funds coming for pandemic purposes. That I'm not sure of. But we do have enough funds to keep going. Our school district is very stable right now.
Well, for the first part of that, I do not know if there are going to be any federal dollars coming in. I've been on the outside and I hear what they tell us, just like you. So I do not know the correct answer to that question. Budgetary shortfalls. Well, that has to be addressed by the board and the administration. And if we're spending money faster than what we're generating, we should be cutting back, holding firm to operating within a budget. And I would like to see how this is working out, how the budget works out, and what's being spent on the budget. Being on the outside, you really don't get a good picture. But when you see a new driveway going into the high school from around the sports fields, you kind of wonder, where did the money come for that and why did they have it? So there are some questions I need to get answered by actually being inside the board to find out what they're spending their money on. Thank you.
Yes, the Nekoosa School District has received pandemic funds. We've received actually 4 sets of funds. 3 of those sets have been used. The 4th we haven't been used any at all because the state has not given us guidance on what, when, and where those things could be spent on. The other monies have been spent on, the number one thing in our district was we went to a 1-to-1 ratio with the laptops. So every student in our district has laptops and is able to be off or online for the distance learning. So we have the opportunity to provide the learning no matter if the student is in the building or not. All students have that capability. Simply put, the main point is everybody needs to respect everybody's opinions and listen to each other. We've been very lucky. We've had very good meetings. We haven't had any issues there. People have been respectful. I encourage that to continue, and it needs to come from both sides, the district and the community. We encourage public comments at all our meetings, and we do seriously listen to those. Sometimes we're not able to respond to them immediately, but we do listen, and we do discuss those in another setting, or once we can put it on the agenda, we will discuss those ideas. Those thoughts are not lost on us at all. We definitely listen and consider all those.
That's a very good question. I've heard a lot of comments from various school districts where parents and citizens have come in and complained about how the school district is being run and complaining about the school boards. We have not had any problems with our school district. Our parents and stakeholders come in and share things with us occasionally, but they're always very civil. Very polite. We answer their questions and help them to understand what we're doing, and it's been pleasant to work with these people, and I wish to continue doing that.
That's the hard part. It's sort of like an ambulance call. You never know what you walk into until you're there. The civility at the school district, just like city council, if the people know in advance what's going on, by proper communication, that will become less and less. The taxpayer doesn't like waking up one morning and find out, oh, we've enacted this, which causes this to happen, or we're taking away this from our students. Parents generally don't like being left in the dark or finding out what's going in the dark of night when it involves their child and the way they have resources in school. So I think more communication, open communication, and at times it might be necessary, just like the city, to have an open communication platform like going into the school's auditorium and laying out in advance, like 6 months in advance or 6 years in advance, of what's going on with the school to find out what direction is it going in, and what's it costing us, or what's it taking away from the district's functions. That's got to happen. Communication, face to face. we were told by the federal government that there are some things that we have to do. No matter if you're in a school or wherever, you have to do them because it's our rules. And sometimes you just cannot go against those rules, especially when you're getting federal funds to operate your business, like a school. And you just can't say, no, I'm not doing that. Well, if the parent wants to do it, that's fine. But then you have to find where you're going to take your child, because if a school says mask wearing is mandated and you don't want your child to wear a mask, then they got to go somewhere. And at times that is a collision. And there are times when the parents want something, but they can't have it because it's against the rules of the school. And this is where you have to have that discussion. What do you want? Why do you want it? Here's our rule. This is why the rule's there. Can we come to a conclusion that works mutually for both of us? It's just something's got to happen. If you have a discipline problem with students, well, that means the parent has to be part of the solution, so the parent better attend the meeting to find out what the school district's rules are, and then how can they change stuff around, the activities around their child at the house to reflect that change. You know, it's as simple as, don't hit anybody. Well, tell them to stop beating up on their brother, their sister, or whatever. I mean, there has to be a mutual ground where they both can get together and decide, yes, this is what we can do. No, we can't do anything because the federal government says we can't do this activity or we must wear a mask. If the state of Wisconsin comes in and says, well, you're a state-funded entity, like a school, you have to do this. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts, it's state rule mandate. And then the parents have to hear it, have to read the rule, and then choose, do they want to be in public school or they want to be in homeschooled, just to get around one state regulation. So basically it's mutual communication and discussion. Thank you.
We all need to listen to each other and be transparent with the issues that we all face. It is sometimes a district has issues or problems that we have to solve as a group, whereas sometimes parents are looking at it as an individual. Sometimes those don't mesh. I think the biggest thing we need to do is try to look for solutions to these conflicts instead of trying to look for excuses not to do something or not to answer a question. Let's look for solutions to all of this. Sometimes it's not what everybody wants. However, I think we do a good job, and I like to be part of that. I believe I'm part of that. We're doing a good job of trying to listen and find an answer to these issues.
Well, we've had some issues with the COVID-19 in the recent months where students have been sent home or quarantined. Students have had to wear masks, and they've asked some students to get vaccinated. Right now, the CDC has downsized those requirements so that we don't have to have masks. It's optional in all of our school buildings, and that's the way the students and the parents really want it. We've been listening to our constituents, and we followed what they've wanted to do, and we're not requiring masks any longer.
In my opinion, and it's kind of a slanted opinion, I have more experience inside the schools than the other candidates. And I've had more experience dealing with tough situations because of my ambulance department, plus being in schools, plus being in the Army National Guard, plus working for the King Veterans Home, because you get stuff thrown at you that you just got to sit back and say, what the heck, give me a second, and then go ahead. It's one of those where my qualifications, I think, are there. It's just for the people to want to believe they're there and to trust me with trying to not run a school, but to give a direction to the school and making sure it is being proactive for the future rather than just sitting, doing nothing, so it falls behind and becomes retroactive and is just not good.
Well, when I started way back when, the first time that I ran for election, I told the voters that I graduated from the Nekoosa School District myself. All my kids went to the Nekoosa School District, and several of my grandchildren are involved in the school district. I still have grandchildren attending at Nekoosa schools, and I want my grandchildren to have the best education that's possible, and so that's why I'm running to make sure that they get the best education. And by getting my grandchildren the best education possible, we would make all the students in our school district have the same best education that's available.
You should re-elect me for the school board for Nekoosa. I'm a lifelong resident. I have been in many facets of the school. I know the process of the school very well. I've been obviously a community member. I've been a parent. I'm an alumni. I've been a coach in the district for many years. I've also been an employee of the district, not only on the school board, but in other facets also. So I bring a lot of knowledge to the table, and I do care about the district and our community.